such a rare occasion that the semi-retired bushy-haired friend of mine is with me on the podcast that what I've done this week is I've demanded to have no guest. I want to enjoy my time with Andrew Harrison, my good friend and co-host, because he's been away in the game reserve and no guest. It's just him and I this week. We've got lots of news, lots of chats, lots of banter, and the next 45 minutes with us is going to be outstanding. How are you?
I am fine.
Nice to see you. We've dedicated this whole podcast just you and me because it's so nice to have you back.
Well, it's a long time since I've been here. Do you miss me? I don't think
We
you
miss you, man. We miss you, but we can't criticize you because you are semi-retired, and when you are semi-retired, you need to go on holiday. But what's worrying me is when in time you become completely retired, you're going to be permanently on holiday.
That's the whole idea of being retired, is it not? Yeah,
It is indeed.
I'll be fishing.
You'll be fishing. How's life up on the hill, Ashburton area? I know that you haven't been to the old training centre for a while, but your wife goes walking there regularly, and still okay? Things okay?
No, they're looking after it. It's really
Looking
nice.
after it, yeah.
Apparently, they've spent a lot of money there. They've put in paddocks and replaced all the roofs and all that. So it'll be interesting to see what's in store.
So it's definitely not going to rack and ruin. That's what I was
No.
It's a beautiful property.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
and also the restaurant there is going strong.
Okay. Oh, good. And that's right. That's Paul Gadsby's spot, and which we've spoken about many times. So it's ticking along. I still have. Well, you know, Andy, with the roads being so terrible going to Maritzburg, to be quite frank with you, I only go when I need to. So I'm not going to drive all the way there for a meal and risk.
Well,
losing
if you do go for a burger, make sure you're bloody starving, because I mean they put half a cow in there, so it's fine. Yeah.
So that's good. But okay, so back to life on the hill. The temperature's been hot, and you've been away.
I don't know. I haven't been there.
Okay. Tell me, we've just been to Kruger. Tell us a bit more about that. Seeing it's a podcast with just you and I, we can talk a bit more about what we want to talk about. For those that haven't been to Kruger, I only went as a South African very late in my life. And I must say it was unbelievable. But you seem to be a very lucky game finder.
No, we work hard, eh?
You say work hard. What have you got to do? Talk to us about what you do there.
We drive a long way. I mean, to see those things. I mean, we spent, I don't know how many days it was there, but we drove nearly 2,000 k's.
Sure. Okay. And you're going at a very slow pace.
Yeah, but no, you're driving at 40 or 30 kilometers an hour. But I mean, some days you see nothing.
Okay.
And then the last 10 minutes before the gate closes, suddenly everything comes out the bush. That's where we saw wild dogs killing, hunting impala. I mean, and we had 5 minutes to get back into camp before we get...
There was something I showed you on Facebook, I sent it to you on WhatsApp the other day, an image of a impala being attacked by a massive eagle, or did you see that?
No, I think I couldn't open it, but I think it's probably roadkill.
Okay. Because
some bloody brain dead that are driving at 100 miles an hour.
Okay.
And don't cut that out.
Don't cut that out. Why do people? Surely people in the game reserves.
There's some absolute idiots that drive through there, and it's just scary.
But why do you think they do that? Is it just because
I don't know.
You must have common sense that you're in a game reserve with other people and wildlife? The rules are there for a reason.
They are, but no one about. The thing is, as I said, you can drive all day and see very little. You can see the normal game, like zebras and all the bears and things like that, and people get bored with that, and then it's lunchtime at Skukuza.
So
you gas it.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Bad planning. Your day, what's the start? What time would you start going to look for game? Early? Do you go 5 o'clock in the morning? Early?
No, we've actually, over the years, we found out that morning game drives are pretty dead.
Okay. And then, Andrew, do you have time during the day or in the evening to relax? Put your feet up, break a brine and relax. I mean,
no, we normally...
Time.
Well, at the moment, the missus works till 7 o'clock in the morning, so she works remotely.
Okay.
So we only go out about 7:30.
Okay.
And then we sort of just tootle around, see bugger all until about 11 or 12. Come back, we like to Shingwedzi because they've got a magnificent pool there, so we swim until 3:30, and then go out.
You camp, is that right? You camp?
No, we bullies now, so we get 40% discount at some of the camps.
Sure. Okay, so you don't pitch your tent anymore. But what I wanted to ask you,
don't like camping.
her and I would be good mates because I'm not a camper either. We're glampers.
Glampers, yeah.
Just last question on game before we move on. You said that when the gates close, so obviously you stay in the reserve, gates closed, public aren't allowed in. Do you find there a big difference?
Well, it's a huge difference.
Is there?
Yes.
Do animals just sort of sense that there's not so much traffic through?
No, it's not. It's not that. It's just that you're staying in the park. You don't have to get out. And in the mornings when you're staying outside of the park, I know there's queues for like an hour and a half to get in. I mean, it's just bloody ridiculous. Sure. So if you can't, it's not a cheap holiday. Yeah. It is reasonably cheap for us now because we get
discounted. Yeah.
But if you have to stay in Kruger, that's the only way to do it. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, let's move on from holidays and game reserves. The Cape season, the racing at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth, Hollywood Bets Durbanville, but mainly of late at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth, has come to an end after the running of the Derby, the Splash Out Derby. What a season it has been, and I had the privilege of going sadly only to one meeting. I went to the World Sports Betting Met, as you know, but what a season! How we were treated to just top quality racing.
Yeah, and it was the big traction, I think, was the Charles Dickens See It Again sort of rivalry. See It Again disappointed a bit towards the end, but I had a mate of mine who was down there, who's quite an observant boy, and he said he thought See It Again peaked it in the Green Point.
Okay.
And he was over the top for the next two races, for the King's Plate and the Met. So yeah, well, Charles Dickens we've got to prove now, so he's out of it. But yeah. I think he hit See It Again of the flat spot in the Lamarons. He's
now a stallion, or preparing to be a stallion. Is Charles Dickens. Goes to obviously Drakenstein, and what's interesting is that they've got a stallion coming in from Ireland, I think, isn't it? And his name is A Case of You, a different name, A Case of You. He's by Hot Streak out of Cargera, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He was a champion sprinter. They've got will have a big swelling band of stallions.
They're in the envious place where they can afford top bloodstock. I mean, Lancaster Bomber had a pedigree like from heaven, and I think he's been a huge loss to South African racing. So this is probably the replacement. I mean, you don't get horses from the Irish for free. Coolmore, they don't. If they let go of a horse, you must know there's something wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So the Cape season, phenomenal success, and racing will obviously continue in the Cape off-season now, as we know, as they go on off all provinces. Goes into the 4 racing time now, and we're recording on Thursday. This will be out before Saturday, the 2nd of March. I mean, how's those fields assembled for Turffontein's meeting, and we'll go through it now. HF Oppenheimer Horse Chestnut Stakes, the SA Classic, and the Wilgeborgsdrift SA Fillies Classic. Let's go and quickly rattle through it, the feature races. The 5th race on the card, Andy, is a listed race, the Acacia Stakes, which is Humdinger, Peach Daiquiri, Lady of Power, Perfect Witness, Silver Hills, Rennie, Juliet Tango, Terror Time, Bonnet, Good Queen Bess, and Sign of Fate. But there's also the Stormbird Stakes, Ruffian Stakes, but let's focus on those 3 main ones, the 3 group ones, or grade ones rather, and go to the 6th race, the grade 1 Wilgeborgsdrift SA Fillies Classic, for 1,250,000. Well, I see James Richards tipping Gimme Another. She's unbeaten.
I think everybody's tipping Gimme Another.
Different division.
I don't think she'll get beat.
Who's in the race? Give Me Another, Silver Sanctuary, My Soulmate, Bavarian Beauty, Let's Go Now, Egyptian Mao, Champagne Cocktail, Beating Wings, and Tamil Tigress. She must, I see the forecast betting here is 1 to 3.
There'll be a shock if she gets beat.
Yeah, I agree with you. So the Grade 1 Wilgeborgsdrift SA Fillies Classic, give me another. Then the next Grade 1 is the Grade 1 Tab SA Classic. That goes over 1,800 metres. Sandringham Summit, William Iron Arm. Again, it's Sandringham Summit. I mean, how good is he and how great is he doing?
Yeah, well, this will be, I mean, he won the Guineas quite easily, so if he wins this one, Turffontein obviously knows something because they've signed him up as a stallion already.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
The band of owners.
It's not the Green Gallant. He's a bit slow.
Isn't breeding amazing?
Yeah.
You know, give me the green light, Townsend gave you Sandringham Summit. Give me the green light, Townsend gave you the Green Gallant, who is, been earning and running well, but
listen, we had Red Rider in this country. He's a full brother to Mr. Prospector. Red Rider was a complete disaster.
Okay.
And Mr. Prospector is unbelievable, champion. So that's the way it goes.
Pick 6 players. Most are going to go Banker, give me another, Banker Sandringham Summit.
Yeah, I think the smaller blokes will do that.
Yeah,
then the other blokes, it might be an idea to take a Banker and whatever, and then take a bigger permit hope for a bomb.
Then the next Grade 1 is the Horse Chestnut Stakes, and that is where Princess Keller will run Main Defender.
It's a hell of a field.
It's a heck of a field, absolutely.
And also
Dave the King, Winchester Mansion, Cosmic Highway.
Yeah. It's also interesting that a lot of the Cape trainers have come up to have a go.
Absolutely.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, Princess Keller and Cosmic Highway, just to mention, those two. In case Pride is horribly off form. Main Defender, Calvin Habib knows very well. And interesting that Main Defender, they've sidestepped. I don't know if it's intentional. They've sidestepped Sandringham Summit.
Yeah, well, Sandringham Summit's 1,800. This is
1,600.
So the mile might. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he'll see it out, but I think it might just be a little bit on the edge of his compass.
Yeah. So top quality racing, and then obviously there's still more in the 4 racing season, and then of course we've got the KZN season around the corner. End of February, we've got March, April, May, June, bang, we're into the Hollywood Bets Durban July. 4 months, and you know how quickly 4 months goes.
It goes quickly. Yeah, and the main Highveld season's on the 6th of April, I think, with Premier's Champion Challenge. They've got there's 4 Grade 1s, there's 8, I think, Grade 2s.
Yeah.
And 2 Grade 3s.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an unbelievable day's racing. You'll be in a coma by the time you finish watching.
And the theme for the Hollywood Bets Durban July is not out yet, but that will be out soon, I'm told. So that's going to be fantastic. So yeah, all these wonderful seasons to look forward to. We've spoken about this weekend's racing. A wonderful video that was seen on Facebook with Peter, there's no D, Peter Muscat, with Isivunguvungu. Isivunguvungu, the champ, goes to America.
Ready. It's with a very heavy heart this morning that we bid farewell to our true champion, Isivunguvungu. He starts his arduous, long journey to the United States today. He leaves at 9 o'clock this morning to travel to Johannesburg, where he'll go into quarantine ahead of his flight in the first week of March to the US. He has been an absolute honour and a privilege to train. There's not many horses of his kind that you come across in your career.
As you can see, he does what he wants to do.
He's gone to war for us on many occasions. He's the best son of what a winter to race. And although it's deep sadness that we say goodbye to him today, we wish him all the very best. First of all for his long trip, and then once he gets into training in the US, where hopefully he can fly the South African flag proud and show the world what he's all about. It's a big ask for him to go and take on the best in the world, but in my mind, he is the best in the world. He's a great horse to be around. He has his own little quirks. He's got a very strong character and a very strong will. And as I say, it's been an absolute honour to be involved with him. We love you, boy. We're going to miss you.
How great is that for South Africa and Hollywood?
Yeah, they obviously think quite a lot of him because I mean it's not cheap chips to head off to the States and then have a go at the Breeders' Cup. I think that was the main aim. Is so they must think quite a lot of him. It's unfortunate that he got scratched in Cape Town in the Flying Championship.
Yes. Interesting too that Hollywood Park, Hollywood Racing, American Racing, where it all started for Owen. You know, now he's going to have please God, he's going to have a horse running there. I mean, that's just.
Yeah, Owen,
you can't write stories like that.
No, I think Owen's been to the Breeders' Cup numerous times.
Yeah.
I think it's probably his main race day. I think he loves it.
Absolutely, and then to potentially have have
a runner. Yeah,
I mean that's what dreams are made of. And there are a couple of other horses. You were mentioning Make It Snappy's also. I know there's a whole plane of horses going across, but I don't know them all. But you said Make It Snappy's.
No, Make It Snappy's been retired. Last year's Fillies Guineas winner in Cape Town. She's going to Ireland, I think, to join the Kitsvetter stud there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think she'll be a broodmare rather than a racer.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, and there's a lot of other horses.
Yeah, because it's in America. It's 2 months quarantine.
Okay,
that's the way to go. Yeah.
Talking about dreams coming true, the Hollywood Punters Challenge at the second to last or the last KZN meeting was a staff member of Hollywood. He did his Punters Challenge. He won 380 or 300. I don't remember the exact amount, but he won a lot of cash. That's life changing.
There are a lot of clever people out there.
Andrew,
I know when I tipped 9 winners at Clarewood once, everybody thought it was even made CNN. Now you get blokes who win the Punters Challenge. I think it's about 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 winners of the
fairly regularly.
Regularly, I mean,
absolutely. But Andy, as you say, I mean, there's a case in point. You tipped 9 winners on the 9 race card at Clarewood many years ago, and I say this with absolute respect. You know, you've been in the game, and you know you've semi-retired, so it's been 45 years, and you did it once. That's how hard it is.
Yeah,
you know, it really is tough. So hats off to every time there's a Punters Challenge winner, they deserve it because it's hard. Hard to find 2 or 3 winners on the card, never mind.
Yeah, I know. And then I remember I think the first winner of the Punters Challenge, he didn't know the horses, he just took his lucky numbers.
Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. But well done to
them,
and to all the winners of late on the Hollywood Bets Punters Challenge. Devon Govender, our colleague and good friend in the office, is doing some fabulous work on Gallop TV with harness racing. He comes on a Saturday morning and he presents and I've listened to him because harness racing is not my favorite, but it's racing, there's gambling available, I go with it. So anything, if there's 2 lizards running along the wall, we'll back them, you know that. He's been doing a great job and I believe the public have really enjoyed this. His assessment and his knowledge of harness racing is good, and what's more is he's got contacts there, so he contacts them, he phones and he gets the information. I mean, the other day I know there were 4 odds-on favourites that he had got information for, which he disseminated. 3 of them won, and the one didn't win. You can't they can't win every time, but what I'm saying is the information, although the horses were short priced, was spot on.
Well, Devon, Dean Latimer sent him over to Australia when Dean was trying to get harness racing up here. I mean, he hit so many brick walls, eventually he gave up. But he sent Devon over to practice in Western Australia, I think, So, and I think Devon learnt a lot there. Yeah. I mean, he drove for the thing, and the stories that he tells are actually quite interesting.
Absolutely.
So he knows what he's talking about.
That's something that's really taken off, which is fantastic. Talking about taking off, how great Our Lady Rachel at Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it was just tremendous.
But so she got a terrible fine.
Yeah, well, you're not allowed to use a stick too often. Yeah.
But it's quite I mean, you know, there are rules and regulations and fines that happens here in South Africa, all over the world, but it was quite hefty.
How much did you get?
She got I think it was 40% or 60% of her stake check.
That's a bit steep.
Yeah, it's either 40% or 60%. The number just slips my mind, but it was a hefty chunk of her stake check. That's a big fine.
Well, she must have been clubbing hard because, yeah.
And I think it was only 2 or 4 strikes over. Anyway, that's their rules, and you know, she's incurred a suspension. But let's not focus on the negative.
But that was good, though. I mean,
she won.
She won, and I read Sean Travass, who's a English journalist who comes out here. He comes to the July every year. He loves it. I read his column, and he was full of praise for her. He said, "This is South Africa's second coming." He said it was great to see her win. He said he just loved it.
I know with you being in the game reserve, were you able to watch the race live, or did you have to watch the?
No,
replay?
I watched the
replay. Yeah. Well, of course, I had to. I watched her first couple of rides, and then I had to leave home to go and attend to something, and her race, you know, so I put the race on the phone, and of course I was reversing out the driveway trying to...
So what did you hit?
No, I did. It was close. I didn't hit anything. I was trying to negotiate out the driveway, which is quite narrow and tricky. And of course, there was 100 metres left to go of the race. I started screaming and shouting. Next minute I looked up and the wall was right in front of me. Luckily I put brakes and the beeps and everything went in the car. But yeah, it was really, really top division. And she was back at Hollywood Bets Gravel in the winner's box with sun blushed, humble as ever, cracking on with life as normal.
No, she's professional.
Yeah. Okay. You know what's also been really intriguing me and giving me hope and spark and enthusiasm is, as you present, you go through the card and you go through the owners, and please, I must make it very clear, I'm going to mention a few that I can remember off the top of my head. We can't remember every international owner. But, you know, you go through the card and you look at Michael Moroney, the Poets Corner Syndicate, Irish interest in South African racing. You've got Glistian Pty, which is Joe D'Amato based in England. Owners from England, all over the world, South Africa. It's heartwarming. It's encouraging that we've got all these owners. And again, as I say, can't list everybody, but we could talk about international owners in general. It really is heartwarming.
I know. I think for international people who come to South Africa and see what's available, I mean, for them it's a pittance. I mean, if you look at the training fees in England, they're bloody horrendous.
Yeah.
And you come here, you can buy yourself a top horse. I think the two bloodstock sales, recent bloodstock sales, they were. I think there was good international interest in those sort of horses. I mean, and then you can race brilliantly for here. I mean, you can pick up a champion for next to nothing.
And what's also interesting is a lot of these international owners obviously come to South Africa for holiday, or they have a home in the Cape or whatever, and they've got horses running here, so they can go to the races, enjoy their horses, the ones that they've got overseas and the ones in South Africa. But the point I'm making is our product, our quality of stock, etc., is good.
Well, we'll see with Isivunguvungu. If that wins the Breeders' Cup, the blokes will come over here like it's in an avalanche. But they'll have to beat Hollywood to the till first. They spent a blooming fortune.
Yeah, they had a good sale, Hollywood. Absolutely, I think they bought 20 earrings, but we'll talk more about sales just now. So to all the international owners, as I said, we've listed Mike Moroney. In the Cape, we've got a host of them, the Fosters, Justin Snaith's got a band of owners. There's a lot of international owners. And sure, we just love having you in South Africa. The Derby, we're jumping around a bit, but that's how our podcast is. We're casual and go to different points of discussion. Green with Envy in the Derby. Talk to me about that pace.
Yeah, I think there's two sort of schools of thought. I mean, they're going slowly and the horse comes from behind and wins easily. You think, well, is that form suspect? But the handicappers obviously didn't think so, because they shunted him up to 119. But then you look what was behind him, sort of 86 rated horses, and you think, well, so I'm sort of on the fence.
Okay.
I think he's a decent horse. I watched him win at Scottsville. He's a nice horse.
There was the one race that really impressed me. I forget the date, but he raced once in Cape Town and he won, and he quickened up from an impossible position.
Yeah.
It was a race along
the politician stakes, wasn't it? Yeah.
Could be, and quickened up, and I looked at that and I thought, now a horse that does that is a top horse,
Yeah.
and he's really gone on, and he'll be coming to KZN. We heard Nicolette Roscoe saying that Dean's horses are travelling up soon. Is it fair to say that a good horse will be able to? I mean, can pace murder good horses? I believe that good horses can win from any draw and off any pace. Or was that?
No, you can. I mean, you look at a horse like Pocket Power. I mean, he nearly won one of the top sprints in Cape Town. I mean, 1,200 meters is far too short for him.
Yes.
But he's a top horse, so he only got caught in the last couple of strides. So, Green with Envy is still a young horse. We'll see. I mean, so the Hollywood bets Durban July is shaping up because there's some if Sandringham Summit wins the Classic on Saturday and he goes on to win the Derby, then you've got Green with Envy and you've got that horse of Terry's. What's it, Boss?
Bless My Stars.
No, the 3-year-old Bisco. I can't remember his name.
That's
bloody odd name.
Is it not running this weekend? I don't think.
No, I don't think so. But I think he's a fair sort of a horse, and then you got See It Again coming for another bite of the cherry. I'm thinking a Politician got beaten as a 3-year-old and came out and won as a 4-year-old. So yeah, we're in for a good season.
Yeah, we certainly are in for a good season. Talking about purchasing horses, Bloodstock South Africa have just had their Cape yearling sale, but Splash Out Cape Derby winner Green with Envy. That's an exciting prospect for sure. Bloodstock South Africa Cape yearling sales have just taken place last weekend. Resounding success as always, which is encouraging. That was held at Hollywood Bets Kenilworth. There's of course the Bloodstock South Africa national yearling sales coming up. Ashley de Klerk from BSA tells me that the catalogues online and hard copies will be released to the public next week, so we look forward to that. And then there is the Cape Racing winter yearling sale taking place on the 31st of May, obviously down in the Cape, and that's a sale to look forward to. So Cape Racing winter yearling sale on the 31st of May. Plenty sales, plenty opportunities to get yourself a new horse. You know, I bumped into Mary Lally yesterday. And she's as you know, gracious, dear woman of the turf, and we laughed. I said, Mrs. Lally, your horses are running so well. It's great to see. She said, yes, but I keep telling my trainer, you know, we need to replenish. We need more stock. And it's not often you find owners that are, because obviously, you know, you cut your cloth according to your finances and et cetera, and costs. And Mrs. Lally being retired and really enjoying her racing. I mean, there she's saying to her trainer, come on, let's go and replenish the stock. That's what you want.
She likes a punter.
I believe she loves a flutter. That's so great. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, she's, you know, in her twilight years, if you could call it that. And she's looking so well, and she really is just a woman of the turf.
I remember going right back to when they used to have a bull before the Gold Cup, was the Gold Cup bull in Umhlanga. Those were the big things, was Laurie Jaffe and Cyril Hurwitz, and those were
big parties.
And Graham Beck, huge parties.
That's so plenty of sales coming up, ladies and gentlemen, to go and replenish your stock. Zach Purton had a 3-timer at Happy Valley. He's just world class. I mean, we've got so many in the world. You know, you think to yourself, well, in the industry, you know, there's a handful of jockeys and a handful of this. Well, it's not really when you look at it on the world stage. I mean, there's top riders achieving goals. I mean, on our own home turf here, Richard Fourie, 4 in the day, Zach Purton, 3 in Hong Kong. It's unbelievable. We've got good talent.
Yeah, Hong Kong's tougher.
It is tough.
But so I think he's got most of the decent horses sewn up, though. So he's a bit like Richard here. You just say, no, Zach wants this ride. They'll say, okay, you can have it.
You can't blame that. I mean,
no, you can't.
Blame them. You've got to go with the form. You've got to go with the informed. Talking about riders, Andrew Fortune is looking to make a comeback to the saddle, obviously, in South Africa. I haven't read the article in full, but basically Ashley's up and running, working, etc. And Andrew's, from what I understand, looking to come back to South Africa and ride again. And yeah, he's just a character of the game, and it would be lovely for us for South Africa.
You'll have to cut his throat to make 58.
Well, I believe it said in the article that his weight is looking good. That's what was on the Sporting Post website. So how nice it would be. And everyone on social media is saying, we can't wait to see you back riding, and we can't wait to listen to your interviews.
Interviews are a different class.
So if Andrew gets to come back to ride in South Africa, we'll be very, very happy. On a bit more of a somber note, you would have seen, and the racing public would have seen, that there was an appeal made out on social media for financial assistance for Tiki Carr. And yeah, I didn't really know him in his riding days, but I certainly knew him in his retired days, and had the privilege of having him at my home and having many meals together, many race meetings together. You remember him from a riding perspective, but he was a good rider. He rode plenty winners.
He rode plenty winners, and I always remember when he used to bring his stick up. When he changed his stick, it was always up here when it swirled around and.
Okay.
It was always up here.
Sure. Okay.
That's what I remember.
Tiki Carr. And he's unwell, and unfortunately cancer, and the finances have been depleted through all the treatments and medical and hospital bills. So they've put out an appeal, and the racing industry always steps up to the plate, and I have no doubt that they will do it again. So Tiki Carr needs help. He needs prayers and well wishes. So to Tiki and Carol Carr and your entire family from the In the Box Seat podcast, we're thinking of you, and we're funking for your better health. Clyde Basil needs thoughts, good wishes and prayers for his better health. His operation with his stomach didn't go so well, and he's had to have several re-ops, if that's what we can call it. And I spoke to his wife yesterday, Angie. He had the operation yesterday. They've put in a larger, longer, bigger stent, from what I can understand, to prevent any popping or bursting going forward. And they're quite upbeat that will do the trick. So to Clyde Basil, we miss him, and just strength and goodwill to him. And then, of course, Jane Thomas, you would have also seen on social media, who's been diagnosed with cancer, and she's getting a lot of visitors from around the country and a lot of good wishes. And it's just testament to how important these people are to us in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, Clyde Basil and Jane Thomas are doyens of the racing industry. I mean, they've been there for years and years and years, and they're characters in their own right. So I'm very sad to hear that. I didn't realise. I knew they were ill, but I didn't realise how serious it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, I believe Jason Gates has fractured his collarbone, and we wish him a speedy recovery too. But to all that may be needing good wishes, prayers, thoughts, well wishes, and a good upswing in your health, we're thinking of you, and we wish you all the very best. We've mentioned just 4 people. If there's anybody else that we've missed, if there's anybody else that we don't know about, our thoughts and prayers are with you all. Monday, we've got some interesting footage coming out. I think it's going to be Monday or Tuesday. The Gold Circle Media team have put a GoPro on to Sean Veal, and that is always good footage and always gets well received, because it's good for the public to see what it's like in a race.
Yeah, I think, but they need sort of 4 or 5 clips stuck together, different races.
Okay.
Preferably the blokes at the back.
So just to say that, to get 4 or 5 different angles, or to get
different angles,
different opinions, different positions,
different positions. See where you are. If you're getting pushed, squeezed onto the rail, or you're being shunted out the back door. And it's nice to have quite a few different angles.
So that's a good point.
Stitch it all together and make a nice reel out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know that word reel, eh? You're just getting social media friendly, you?
No, I'm not actually. My daughter does a lot of reels.
Okay, so look out for that GoPro footage next week. There is also some, ladies and gents, friends and family, there is also already on Facebook, on the Gold Circle Facebook page, 2 video clips that an owner or owners are talking about the joy of owning a racehorse and how it's accessible to everybody. I know that the Cape have been doing massive drives for syndication. The whole country is cottoning on and doing massive drives for syndication and racehorse ownership. I suggest you go on and just listen to those two owners talking about their experience as racehorse owners. And if it doesn't give you goosebumps, well, and if it doesn't give you goosebumps and give you an interest into owning a little share in a horse, well, then I'm not quite sure what will. But I know with you just having travelled back, go on and have a look. They really are two good videos.
I saw with
Did you see
Cole. Yes, Cole.
Yes. There was the Yuppie Syndicate. There was the gentleman that owns horses with Yogas Governor. And then there was Cole yesterday, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that video hasn't gone up yet. There's only 2 that have gone up. That will go up in time. So great footage. Go and listen and have a look. Andy, we just need to quickly talk about, before we wrap up, are you taking me for breakfast?
No.
He's a bit.
I'm retired. You still working?
I must take you for breakfast. Okay, all right. Well, now we can arrange that. What's the time? 11:25. Semi-retired. It's probably.
Hurry up! We've got a race card to do.
It's probably beer time later on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Lots of soccer bets and lots of soccer pools, and we just urge everybody: Tab Gold, Gold Circle. Gallop TV, YouTube, all those platforms will advertise the carryover pools, what's to bet on, suggested bets for soccer. There's trotting. You heard us talk about the trotting with Durban July. There's that to gamble on, which we all do, and dog racing. Devon made me laugh. He said, well, I'm talking and promoting the sport, I must throw my hand in at dog racing. He's had 3 bets, 3 winners. Go to the front, don't get beat, these dogs.
Lucky boss.
So he's loving the dogs. And then, of course, there's the greyhounds. The dogs, the greyhounds. And there's, of course, the cards, the draws, or the card results get put out onto.
Well, the only advice I can give you is don't back Manchester United. I haven't watched a soccer game for a long time, but then I watched them play the last Saturday or Sunday. They were bun and coke. Jesus, they were useless.
Piers knows about soccer. You don't know about soccer, but
they were playing some. I can't remember what team.
Liverpool won, didn't they? Or Liverpool won something.
Liverpool. I was watching Manchester United. They were useless. They could have put me at bloody centre forward. I could have scored a goal.
For the Manchester United fans, I'm going to be loving you, but anyway, it is what it is. So they got sounded, they got punished.
They drew. It was 1-1, and then it was 2-1.
Let's just quickly talk before we wrap up the Tab Classic Day, the 2nd of March, which we've browsed through. We browsed through the fields, but to go and get the fields online. The official Gold Circle race card, the winning forms, computer forms. There's so many form guides accessible to you, and there is, of course, the official RaceGoer page, which gets put into the newspapers, and there's a huge following for the RaceGoer page. Talking about the RaceGoer page, 2 questions. I remember from when you and I were very young, which was just the other day,
Not far back.
Not far back when we were young, following my horses and racing from the RaceGoer page. How long has that page been around?
We took over in about 2012, I think it was. Yeah, so it's been going for
some time.
Yeah.
Andrew, the RaceGoer publication in the newspapers, is it countrywide?
It used to be countrywide, but IOL cancelled their subscription, the deal. So basically we're in KZN.
Okay.
So we've got the Mercury Daily News and the Post.
Okay, all right. Now, obviously I knew the answer to that question, but for the viewers out there, they might not have known the answer to the question. But it is a great page, and there's a great team of journalists, racing analysts, guys behind the scenes, and girls that put that page together, which is available in the KwaZulu-Natal newspapers. And you're quite right. On the odd occasion when mistakes happen and it hasn't made the newspaper, I've been here for 10 years, it's happened twice, I think. So that's the rarity of it, but the reality is that mistakes can happen. And when the page doesn't go into the newspaper, people phone in, they want it.
Oh, they want it, yeah. primary source of fields and form.
We just rattled through the fields. Tab Classic Day on the 2nd of March, which we've touched on. Pick 6 Bonanza, carryover of 1 million, and the likely pool is expected to be around 5 million. So there's a massive Pick 6 pool to play in on Saturday. That's a wrap then, Andrew. We've just got some good quality racing. Nice to be back with you, and next week we'll have guests on the show, which is great, but it's nice just to sit at head office, touch base and spread some news and spread some love, and that's it. But nice to have you back.
Thanks, Wa. Hopefully we can get William of Wembley on next week.
Yes, we've tried to get Bill Lambert, Gold
he's
Circle.
ducked us about 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah, Gold Circle ambassador, and it'll be nice to have him.
We can line him up.
Absolutely. So he's hopefully going to.
So, Bill, if you're watching,
yeah,
you're in trouble.
You're it next week, Bill. And that's it from us, from the entire team behind the scenes. Thanks very much. And punt well. There's just plenty racing, plenty sports, plenty everything for you to get involved with. And as always, be kind, be safe, and we'll see you as always. Where will we see you?
In the number 1 box.
That's exactly where we'll see you, in the number 1 box. Remember to subscribe, like, and follow us on the Gallop TV YouTube channel. If you missed last week's episode of In the Box Seat, click right here and you'll be able to watch it at your leisure.